Natalie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been some months in the making, so it's finally happening. I'm so excited.
Yay! I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And, there's so many topics we could get into. We could get into money. And I just first want to just acknowledge what drew me to you was this just like you have this incredible confidence that is just so magnetic. And I can tell just by how people respond to you, like people just listen to you. They just
Hmm.
listen. And so I'd love for you to share like where that comes from and yeah, how you develop that.
Authority is so interesting.
Yeah.
I find that it's a lot easier to get than people think.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of hip hop, and one of the very popular mechanics in hip hop is call and response. I tell you to do something, you do it. Wave your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care, right? You do it. I find that when you tell people what to do often enough, people will start to view you as an authority. it's actually interesting, and that's great if you know what you're talking about. It's not so
Mhm.
great if you don't know what you're talking about, but
Right.
I find that I'm more willing to speak up
Yeah.
and put my opinion out there, I think, than the average person. And it works. I think when we really get connected with the idea that our mission is valuable and that the
Yeah.
more people whose lives we touch, the better the world will be, it gets easier for you to put yourself out there more.
Right. Because it's like mission first, right? It's
Right.
not so much about you as a person personally. It's just like, no,
Agreed.
we got to get this information out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it was about me, I would sleep in, eat lasagna. I'd basically be Garfield the cat. So if it was only about what I wanted to do, you actually wouldn't see any posts at all for any reason at all. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
important to keep the message and the mission first.
So what is your mission? Like what drives you? What keeps you
I
from eating
really,
lasagna?
I really want more money in the hands of good people.
Yeah.
And I believe that rich you is the real you. So we've been taught
Mhm.
that money corrupts, that money is going to change us into something really bad. It's going to make us abuse people, harm people, hurt people, mistreat people, pay them minimum wage, trample over their rights, at
Mhm.
insert billionaire qualm here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we believe. And that's what we've been taught, all of us, whether it's directly or indirectly, that there is some emotional divide between being a good person and being a wealthy person. I would argue that you are more of yourself when you are well resourced. How many of us have stayed in dead end jobs, bad relationships, cities we didn't like, houses that were unsafe, because we didn't have the money to do what we actually desired to do. And as entrepreneurs, it becomes serving the wrong clients at the wrong price point that have problems we don't want to fix anymore. We're doing it. Why? Because we need the money. What would you do if you didn't need the money? That's the true you. And that smacks in the face of money is going to change you into an indiscernible human being that you don't even recognize right now.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm big on the idea that wealth has to have a reason, and we get to choose what our reason is. And if your reason is philanthropic, great. If your reason is I want to be comfortable or I want to look like a Kardashian, more power to you. But having that North Star and saying, here's a way where you can get wealthy and hand that out to people. That's really
Mhm.
what keeps me going because we are disenfranchised when we are middle class. We don't have rights. We are oppressed. We are
Mhm.
unhappy. We have financial stress. It shortens our lives. We eat food
Yes.
that's not good for us. I used to eat Vienna sausages and crackers. You think I wanted to eat potted meat and crackers? No, that's what I could afford to pay for. It
Yeah.
shortened my life. Nobody wants that. So I wake up every morning thinking, how can I get even one person closer to wealth today? And every day
Mm.
that I do it, I was successful.
I love that. I love it. Just like you taking it down to one person, right? Affecting one person's
Yeah,
life.
one person.
Yeah.
One person. It doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of people. I think that's where folks get tripped up. They go, well, I have a small audience. Small is relative. If I invited people over to my house for a small gathering, 6 or 8 people in my house would feel like a lot of people. I don't have kids, I
Mhm.
don't have pets, I live with just my husband. So 4 or 5 times the normal capacity of my house would feel like a lot of people. But if
Yeah.
you have a sales page that only gets 6 clicks, people go, oh, well, no one saw it. No, 6 people saw it.
Right,
Six
right,
human
right.
lives saw
Yes.
it. And if you couldn't get any of those humans to buy it, now that's a separate problem. But 6 human beings saw the link, and that has to mean something. We can't just say, well, that doesn't mean anything. That's not enough people.
Right. No, you're
One
so
person is
right.
valuable. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you. Rich,
Rich
rich
you is the real
is the
you.
real you. And it's like, I'm just thinking even just about like a nervous system regulation and how we live our day to day, kind of like chasing the dollars, and we are stressed out having clients we don't want to work with, or in jobs that we don't want to do, and this makes us like puts us in a bad mood, and then then we act out with our loved ones, right? So that's definitely not the real us. That's not
No,
us,
it's
like,
not the
yeah.
real us. It's not, we're not proud of being that person. We
Mm-mm.
we feel guilty about it. We don't like,
Right.
that's not the real us. So when people say money changes you, no, money gives you
You're
the
like,
opportunity to finally express what you wanted to do the whole time. Now, if that is in fact a bad person, then that's something you need to resolve before you get rich. Right? Like if you're sitting here thinking, no, Natalie, I really would be a bad person with money. I would buy guns and harm people. Maybe you ought to like address that now. Right? That means that the money
right,
didn't change you. It just gave you an opportunity to express what you were already planning on
right. It's like
doing.
drinking
You have a
alcohol.
right. So you have a character flaw right now. The money didn't create the character flaw. You already have it, and you need to work through that in therapy. You need to talk to God about it. You need to figure that out. That's the whole movement. Rich you is the real you. And if you don't like that, if that makes you uncomfortable, do something about it before your net worth has multiple zeros on it.
Exactly, exactly. And like, where do you get this, like these perspectives on wealth and money, and like how did you develop your knowledge, your education, your confidence around money and how to make it? Because you're also like the sales siren.
I am. I have that trademarked. I am the sales siren. You know what? I'm really blessed in that I had some great childhood experiences that shaped my money mindset. My mom believes in the prosperity gospel. My mom is very
Mm.
religious, very Christian, very Southern. And I grew up watching Creflo Dollar. Creflo Dollar was this black pastor at the time that was very flashy with his money. He had a helicopter, he wore expensive cufflinks. And my mom was like, more power to him. The children of God deserve to be rich. She never was like, he's flashy, he's too much, he should be giving all that money back to the church. It was very, the devil's people get to be rich. Why can't God's people get to be rich? So that's how I was raised. I was raised that, like, why shouldn't we have nice, like, why not us? Why should other people get it and we not get it? And I decided early on in life that I was going to get into finance. And so I parlayed me a job at the bank, which was great, and eventually became a licensed financial advisor. So I've
Yeah.
got a leg up in some categories. But I'll tell you one thing, the biggest thing that has helped my money mindset is getting around kind people with money. Being
Mm-hmm.
generous and letting people be generous towards me,
Yes.
because otherwise we will really convince ourselves that it's an us versus them, and that division is the name of the game. If you want to keep a certain group of people oppressed, pit them against each other, turn
Mm-hmm.
them into the Hatfields and the McCoys, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in almost any skirmish or historic battle, you will see two people of very similar socioeconomic class fighting each other. They're not fighting the nobility that's keeping them in that class, and they're completely ignoring the blue collar workers that could actually help them elevate things. No, they
Yeah.
fight each other. And that's what happens, especially in the US. There's so much infighting. No,
Yeah.
you're the reason why taxes are this way. You're the fault and you're the blame and you're the blame. And it's like, has anyone looked around to recognize that for all intents and purposes, we're all low income? Like compared to the rich people that like we're all kind of in the bucket together. Like we're all at Target pushing the same buggy buying $6 eggs. Wouldn't it make sense to focus your energy on elevating your own socioeconomic status instead of arguing with other people in the same boat as you? And that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I think I saw early on in life. I kind of
Yeah.
cut through the BS and was like, I want to be rich. So what's going on with the news and I just maybe I'm just incredibly selfish. I don't know, but like I think about how I'm still overweight. I think about how I'm not a decamillionaire yet. I think about how I'm in the middle of a launch and how today is my 4-year business anniversary. I just don't know where I have time to worry about other people's opinions about me. All of that stuff. It seems very luxurious to have the kind of time and to have so much money that you don't even have to worry about closing a client. Like it's a very y'all must be living the lap of luxury. People that are very involved in fighting back against each other. I'm
Mm-hmm.
all about uplifting. I don't think we have to compete. I think there's enough money out there for all of us. And I think that the way that most of us were taught about money is incredibly flawed. And I'm just not going to be a pawn, you know? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not going to let people tell me what I can and can't do. It's my life and I get to choose that. Um, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just shaking
Maybe
my
that
head,
answers
kind
your
of like, this
question.
is so good. This is so good. This prosperity gospel, you just kind of blew my mind when you said that, because I think most people experience their relationship with spirituality and even religion is of yeah, of money being sort of the devil's work, or like having a life of, or having, not having money is sort of more spiritually ascended, and so you're talking about this pastor who was like, yeah, I've got money, and look, this is me. And it was like, what a message to receive, and to have that be like, yeah, this is okay, and everybody gets to have it. And like,
Yeah.
his relationship with God is like, is
It
great.
was it wasn't always loved. I'm glad my mom liked it because but this is why I tell people, I don't look down on people who have different money mindsets than me because it could have been me. What if my
Mhm.
mom was a typical Christian who believed that it's easier to get through an eye of a camel eye of a needle than to get into
Right.
heaven as a rich person? What if my
Yeah.
mom had believed that? She would
Yeah.
have pushed that belief down on me, and I
Yeah.
would believe that.
Yes.
So like I'm definitely not one of those holier than thou, anybody can shift type things. I think what we really have to decide is, are my current beliefs going to uphold where I'm going? So
Hmm.
if I decide that I want to be a multimillionaire, if I decide that I want to be work optional in my 40s instead of working full time in my 40s, if I decide that I want to have a residence in Milan and a residence in New York and a residence in Atlanta, if I decide I want to have household staff, a chef, a maid, do my current set of beliefs align with that future, with that
Hmm.
reality? And if
Hmm.
they don't, then they have to go, even if they're uncomfortable, even if they're deeply rooted, even if I believe these things my entire life. I used to believe all Black people were poor because as a child, I read the US Census and we made less than every other ethnicity on the list. We were the lowest earning ethnicity in the census when I was a child. And every
Hmm.
4 years, I would read it and go, well, how? How? Black people are amazing. How are we poor? I don't understand. I would be confused every 4 years. And then I realized, the census doesn't poll everyone. I've certainly never been asked to be a part of the census. So they're taking a sample of people and then extrapolating that data as though it attests to everyone, which is not true. Two, all I had to do was meet one rich Black person. And I was like, well, that can't be true. Right. So all we have to do is confront our beliefs. I used to have a belief that I couldn't have long, healthy hair, that I was not responsible enough to take care of hair. I kept my hair very short, trimmed on the side, buzz cut around the back because I didn't feel that way. Look at me with all of this hair. That was a belief. It was not genetically sound. I have great genes for hair. It was not realistic. I take great care of all of my belongings. Why wouldn't I take good care of my hair? But that was my belief system. And so I behaved in alignment with my belief system. I got my hair cut every week for 10 years because of my belief system.
Yeah.
When I changed my belief system that I could maintain hair like I maintain anything else, magically my hair grew and it looks great. So sometimes we have proof of what we think is our belief, right? So me cutting my hair every week reinstated that belief that I'm not good with long hair. But it wasn't true. My action was making it true. I didn't let myself get long hair to decide what was or wasn't going to happen. I made a fear-based decision. Now, my short hair was adorable, but it was very frustrating. It wasn't any easier to manage. It was incredibly expensive. Anybody who's got a really a shaved side knows that shaved side wants to grow really fast.
Yeah.
It does not want to stay shaved. So sometimes our beliefs drive our actions. And so we think, oh, I'm getting this result from this action. It must be true. My belief must be true. No, your action is making it true.
Right. So the action was feeding the belief as well.
Right. So it wasn't that I was right. It's that my action was reinforcing that my belief was true. Me getting the haircuts made the belief manifest.
Right. So it's kind of like
Not
this
the other way
looping system.
around. Exactly. Yeah. So I meet people who go, I can't raise my prices. I tried that before. Okay, talk to me about what you tried. They're like, what do you mean? How? Explain. What did try mean? What did you do? Oh, I had a sales call and I told them my new price. Got you. So you had one sales call with one person and you told them one price. Did you update your application? Did you change your positioning? Did you write better copy? Did you run ads? How many people saw the sales page? Did you have 20 calls booked, 30, 40, 100? No, I just told one person one time and they didn't buy. Okay. Did they tell you expressly that they didn't buy because of the price? No, they just didn't buy it. Did you ask them why they didn't buy it? No, I didn't get any feedback from them. But this will be what people tell me as to why they haven't raised their price in 10 years. They'll tell me they tried to raise their price in the past. No, you were never fully committed, because if you were fully committed, everything about your business would have changed to support that new price. And you wouldn't have backed down on it just because one person said no.
Right. There's all these pieces
this is
that
the price
go
now. The price is the price, and I'm not going to change it. This is what it is. Deal with it. That's what would have happened, right? But it didn't, because you didn't really believe in it. And it's okay to say that. Like, it's okay to be honest about that with yourself, but we can't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck in a reality you don't like.
Yeah. And I think what you're bringing in is like, you know, when you make a decision, there are a whole bunch of pieces that go along with that decision, that when we talk about coming into alignment with our beliefs, like there's a lot of pieces, like the messaging and, you know, getting the sales page up, and all of those aspects need to come together around that decision, right? It isn't just kind of like, I'm going to raise my prices. And like you said, you know, just tell one person or just show
and
up.
Kind of hope for the best, hope people stumble into it or think about it on their off day or something.
But it's like the fully
I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's not all in. No. And I think the biggest mistake that people make, especially women, we hedge our success. We say, well, I don't want to go all in on this thing, so I'm going to dip a toe. I'm going to make half a decision. So, you know, I'll raise my prices over there, but I'll still keep some affordable stuff here. Or, you know I should be investing in the stock market. Maybe I'll invest $20 a month instead of, you know, a real number that would make sense for their budget. Like, we tend to hedge and say, well, I'm going to do a little of this and a little of this and a little of this. And I don't gamble, but everyone gets this rhetoric. If you want to win big, you got to bet big. So if you bet really small and you spread it out all over the board, you don't really win even when you hit. So what good is
Yeah.
raising your price $100? You're not going to feel like you won when you close a deal at $100 extra. Not with these payment processing fees. You won't even notice it. So you might as well go all in on the thing. And that's what's scary to people because they don't want to fail. But failure is part of learning. You cannot be successful without some amount of failure. It just comes with it. And the sooner
Yeah.
we accept that, the better off we'll be.
I think that's what gets in the way of a lot of women, people raised as female around money and even business, like you're saying, is this fear of making a mistake. We hold ourselves to this like standard of perfection, and we don't really
Mhm.
allow ourselves to get messy at all because fear of criticism, fear of judgment, all of those things. And we did like a first recording where we talked about confidence and about your mother sort of inoculating you to, yeah, people are probably going to hate, they're probably going to be jealous of you, and that in a way protected you against, right, the
Yeah.
criticism that she figured you were going to get because you were smart and you were probably outspoken already, and that's perfect because I think
Unfortunately.
but I think that's what we fear, right? Isn't that what we like? I don't know. We have this terror around being judged or criticized. And it's like, wow, if we can just get over that, like we are unstoppable in our with our money, with our businesses, with our voice and our leadership as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. My mom, bless her heart, she's so sweet. She still deals with me and my opinionatedness. It's really, really remarkable.
Were you always like that?
Yeah, unfortunately. She it's so funny when I get upset and I get a little irritating. She's like, "You were always a fussy baby." And like, what do you even say to something like that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? She's like, there you go, fussing. You were a fussy baby. You came out screaming and you didn't stop. You were just fussy, fussy, fussy. And so, unfortunately, yeah, I think I've always been meant to take up space and make a lot of noise. And people don't like that. They don't like it on women.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that. They don't like it
Yeah.
on us. Because
Yeah.
if I were a man, people would just call me a mogul,
Mm-hmm. And have you
a
received a lot of
phenom,
pushback? Have you
an
received a lot of pushback?
icon. Oh, I don't care. I mean, I'm out of my bitch era. People used to call me that.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
I've got a slightly kinder facade online now, so now people call me a powerhouse, an icon, stuff like that. And I'm just like, if you say so, I don't know what's iconic about selling your stuff online every day, but you know what? I'll take it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so you had said earlier that people have really messed up ideas about money
Uh-huh.
and about investing, and I'd love for you to share some of those just to see like maybe somebody listening. It could be that one person that gets help today.
Yeah. Um, I want to state for the record that this is not financial advice. That
Right.
Natalie is no longer a financial advisor. She surrendered her securities licenses and she is free from FINRA. Hallelujah. Okay. So I put a little asterisk there. But I think the big thing, especially right now, is you got to be defensive. And being defensive is not the same as being afraid. Being defensive means that you know that there are risks out there willing to take your money
Mm-hmm.
and that you want to defend them. If you have children and there's a threat, you defend them.
Yeah.
Right? If you know you have an allergy and you're at a buffet, you're defensive, right? You're looking and
Yeah.
scrutinized. So you know what defensive means, right? You
Yeah.
you gotta you conjure an idea. Here's three things that anybody could benefit from right now. One, having more cash reserves. Now is not the time to not be liquid. Save more than
Mm-hmm.
you think that you need. Don't name it emergency savings. Why? Emergency is negative. You've never had a positive emergency in your life. Emergency means urgent and bad, right?
Great
So
point. Yeah.
have a long-term savings and a short-term savings
Mm.
and maybe a slush fund for, incidents that happen around the house. Call it home repair. Don't call it emergency, okay? Because again,
Okay.
you're calling that into your life. You're literally saying, "Here's a bucket of money for the bad urgent stuff that's going to happen to me." And we don't want that. We don't want the universe to
Right.
start thinking, oh, she wants an emergency. She's already funded it. That's great. None of that. So have more than you think you need. I have 6-figure savings cushion. And I don't say that as a brag. I say that because we worked really hard to get it. You know,
Hmm.
even if it's
Yeah.
3%, 5%, 1% of every sale, a good place to start is 1 times the most expensive offer you sell. That's a great
Mm,
place to start.
I
1x
like
your
that.
highest ticket offer, right? If you're selling something that's 20K, but you can't put your hands on 2,000, you're out, you're imbalanced,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's one. Two, look at your numbers. If you're in business, look at your profit and loss statement. Look at what got spent. Look at what was left, the profit. Look at what you paid yourself. Do those
Hmm.
numbers make sense? If you only pay yourself 5 or 10%, you're not paying yourself enough. If you're paying yourself 80%, probably paying yourself too much. We tend to think we need more team and more coaching and more this and more that. But we have to be careful, especially when it's a volatile marketplace. And normally there's volatility in your personal life or in business. Right now, there's volatility in both because it's
Yeah.
close to the election.
Yeah.
So that's two. Know your numbers. Don't beat yourself up. Don't judge yourself. Don't look at it and go, I'm so stupid. This is not an emotive period. This is data.
Hmm.
Do
Yes.
the numbers make sense? Are you familiar with the numbers, right? The number
Yeah.
of people who will spend $10,000 on coaching but won't pay $500 a month for bookkeeping is baffling to me.
Yes.
Know your numbers. The
Yeah.
foundational stuff is very important. And then three, stay on top of your taxes. Don't let the taxes sneak up on you. It's kind of like Christmas. It comes every year at the same time. You know when that time is. So don't
Yes.
let the IRS catch you off guard with something and act like you don't know what it is, right? Having a great accountant, setting money aside, putting yourself on payroll if applicable, really just having a good relationship. You know, if you have a good relationship with your partner, which I hope everyone listening does, or a best friend or a pet, even,
Yeah.
right? You're in relationship and you would want to water that relationship. You would want that relationship to be fruitful. That's what
Yeah.
you would want. That's how I want you to treat your money. Most of us
Yeah.
treat money like an adversary, this thing that we don't want, that we didn't ask for in this
Yeah.
capitalistic country that we didn't choose to be born into with these rich,
Hmm.
snobby people who don't pay their share in taxes, right?
Yeah.
It's a total
Yeah.
victim mentality. I can't
Yeah.
change anything. None of this is my fault. And then when tax time comes, the books aren't clean. There's no money in savings. You got to play the IRS shuffle. What if you were to say, money is my friend? Money allows me to keep a roof over my head. Money allows me to feed my family. Money allows me to feed my dog. Money allows me to tithe to my church. Money allows me to buy beautiful makeup and get my hair done and look great. Money allows me to have health insurance. Money allows me to meet with my therapist in 22 minutes. Money allows me the lifestyle that I deserve and desire. And I'm
Yeah.
going to treat my money really well. I'm going to speak to it as though it is giving me a new chance at life. I'm going to treat it well. I'm going to organize it. I'm going to categorize it. I'm going to give it good directions. I'm going to spend it wise. I'm going to steward over it. I'm going to thank God for it. Like, what would that change in most people's lives? If you
Hmm.
shifted from money as this thing that I have to manage to, I get.
Yes. It's a privilege,
It's a
right? It's like an
privilege.
honor.
It's an
Yeah.
honor. That's what I want people to shift to because once you have that belief, investing is a no-brainer. Hiring a financial planner is a no-brainer. Getting a better accountant is a no-brainer. Paying yourself more is a no-brainer. Funding your retirement is a no-brainer. Buying a car that's within your means that you can actually afford is a no-brainer. Filing your taxes early. We file in late February, early March. I've never filed an extension in my life. I am honored to pay my taxes.
Hmm.
It means we made money and I'm damn proud of it. So the idea that like we have to hide or that there's something bad or there's something wrong or there's something difficult in this money, it's not true. It doesn't have to be true for us. It could be true, but it doesn't have to be true. And I want to invite you to interact with money differently to see if it gives you a different result.
When you were driving, when you were describing some of the ways that you would treat money, and you were talking about the relationship aspect. I always feel like it's so much about respect. Even when I'm in a partnership with somebody, when I lose respect for the person, it's over. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, why are we even friends anymore? And so with money, it's the same thing. It's just like, I care about you. I respect you. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we're good and that you're good and
Right.
that you feel good and that you feel free and that you're moving around and that you're growing, you know? So I
Yeah.
feel very much like respect is the foundation, right? It's an honor and privilege to be with you and to yeah, to share you or to move you around or
Yeah,
whatever it is that you
anything. It's a
yeah.
privilege, it's an honor. It's not a burden or a problem,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if you don't have as much money as you want. And that gives you even more opportunity. I have a really, really aggressive revenue goal that I would love to hit today because it's our anniversary and gimmick or
Yes.
not, that means a lot to me, right?
Yeah.
And thank God that I have my business because it means that I get to have something that's mine that means a lot to me. And so I don't care if it's realistic or reasonable or feasible. I don't care about it. None of that matters to me. None of that matters to me because money is abundant, it's ever present. Not in every country, but in America, Canada, Europe, where I sell my services to, it is absolutely abundant. There is
Yeah.
literally money everywhere. And so when it's not in my checking account, I have to wonder, what did I do to repel this money? Because money's everywhere. It's in the banks, it's in individuals' hands, it's in gold bars, it's in coins, cash, bills, credit cards, safe deposit boxes. It's literally raining out the sky. Money is everywhere. So if it's not in my Wells Fargo account, what did I do to repel it? It's like trick or treaters, We don't celebrate Halloween. However, kids don't usually stop at my house. Why? My house is not hospitable on Halloween. We don't have the lights on. We don't have any decorations up. We don't have an orange bucket. We don't have a jack-o'-lantern. We don't have a witch. We don't have the tree decorated. We don't have witches, ghouls, goblins, spiders, nothing, right? There's nothing to signal, come here, we have candy. We don't have that. So we don't get those kinds of visitors, right? But if we wanted
Yeah.
to go all out and attract a lot of kids for Halloween, we could do it. So sometimes our own belief system and desire repels things. So maybe it's not that someone didn't want to pay you. Maybe it's not that. Maybe we inadvertently repelled them because of how we were feeling about ourselves and our money at the time. It's why
Mm-hmm.
I don't have sales calls when I'm in a bad mood because they're
Mm.
not going to say yes. They're going to pick up on my energy. If I have the energy that you're not going to pay me, then it doesn't matter what the words are that are exchanged, you're not going to pay me. I would rather move that call to a day where I'm in a better space. Thankfully, it's been
Mhm.
years since I've had to do so, but I would do it in a heartbeat
Yeah.
because we repel. We subconsciously we move money in and out of our lives because if you really needed it, it's like adrenaline. You hear those stories about those moms who pushed whole school buses off of the cliff and stuff because their child's life was on the line. It was worth
Right.
the exertion. So
Yes.
when we really need to, most of us back against the wall can actually make miraculous things move in terms of money. It's being able to control your mindset to where that's your reality all the time instead of it
Yes.
having to be a special event or, rock bottom. I had a client who told me once, Natalie, I came up with the money to pay for your program, but 2 weeks ago I was flat broke. And I'm like, why do you think that is? She said, what do you mean? Why do you think you were able to come up with $5,000 to get into this program, but you weren't able to come up with $5,000 for yourself? Why was getting in my program more important than being financially solvent for your own personal being? What
Mm-hmm.
about me felt more important than you? Because you moved heaven and earth to get in this program, but you wouldn't do it for yourself. Why is that?
Yeah.
And people don't even recognize that that's true for them until I told her, and she was like, well, I'm important. I can't tell. You're telling me that when it was just for you, you couldn't come up with the money. But when you knew I had a deadline to pay me, you came up with it. There's a
Are you
block there.
Are you
right?
saying that people like don't fight for themselves?
Yeah, they're told to
Yeah.
diminish their own value and worth. As women, especially, we are taught do for other people,
Mm-hmm.
give
Mm-hmm.
people the shirt off your back, help your neighbor, do something big and important over there. How
Yeah.
often do we do things that only benefit us? They don't benefit anybody else.
Right.
Selfish things completely that are only good for us.
Yeah.
Very rare. Society says that's not okay. Society
Mm-hmm.
says you're supposed to help people all the time. And then if other people aren't helped, you're selfish, you're a bad person. And no, that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not true. We pour into others from our reserves. If I have no emotional reserves, mental reserves, physical reserves, I can't serve well. So it
Mm-hmm.
actually is good for me to say, I'm going to get 10 hours of sleep because I need that. And I
Yeah.
understand you want to have a summit at 7 in the morning, but I don't do 7 in the morning summit because I need 10 hours of sleep. Right? Instead of
Yeah.
saying, I'm going to go against my own biological body rhythms to participate in this program, do a crap job because at 7 in the morning, I'm no good to anybody. Why
Yeah.
do it? But, when I say things like that, I've turned people down because they wanted to do stuff in the evenings or weekends or 6 or 7 in the morning. And they're like, well, this is a very important cause. And if it meant a lot to you, you would do it. Oh, you don't say. So if I care about other people, I have to overstep my boundaries. You're saying I can't have boundaries and care and concern at the same time. If you cared about my well-being, you would move the summit to 9 o'clock. How about that? If we're just playing the if you care game, but that's how so many of us were raised. We were raised that our own desires are diminishable, that it's
Mm-hmm.
more important for us to please other people than it is for us to do for ourselves. And again, rich you is the real you. I would argue that by being fully self-fulfilled and walking in trust and love and light and ease, that it makes every other initiative that you touch, every relationship in your life better than
Yes.
if you try to run on fumes to make things work for other people.
Yeah. I agree so much. And it's like, I'm sitting here listening to you, and it's like I'm just thinking about my own life and people that I've worked with, and it's like, how hard is it for us to keep hitting those walls and learning that lesson over and over and over again? Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible how many times like we need to hear this and be like, yes, permission to say no, or permission to ask for 9 a.m. versus 7 a.m. or whatever it is. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm not doing
And
7 a.m. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the cause is. I don't even want to pretend like I care. I don't care.
Natalie, what has been your biggest money lesson?
You can always make more money, but you only have one body.
Mm.
So if you're in burnout, take the time off. If you're injured, heal. If you had surgery, take an extra 2 weeks. You're gonna lose money and it's gonna feel painful. And a lot of us have attached our net worth to our self worth. So if our business loses $10,000 in a month, we tell ourselves that we're bad people.
Hmm.
But you can always make more money. They literally print it every day. You can
Yeah.
always make more money. There's always another client, another invoice, another. I don't care if you sell crafts on Etsy, which is a great business for a lot of people, by the way. There's always going to be another buyer. I promise. I promise you. I don't care how much debt you have. There's always more money. The money is never going to stop. You're never going to wake up one day and go, "Damn, they made the last of that money. My opportunity is gone forever." It's called currency. It flows like a current in a river. It's never going away. But
Yeah.
you have one physical body. You have one set of teeth, one nice huge organ of skin. One. You got one heart. One. That's it. So we're
Yeah.
living our lives like we have 20 hearts, 7 livers, 4 brains. This is all you got. You don't have a spare. The most important things in your body, you don't have a spare.
Yeah. Yeah.
God gave us 2 lungs and like kidneys. Like some things he hooked us up, but some stuff you just got one. You have one brain. If that one brain gets damaged, if that one brain can't do it, you're done. So don't try to push and exchange an immovable source, something you cannot replicate, something that
Right.
is not duplicable for something that is endless. You
Yes.
know, people used
Yeah.
to take out loans on their home to buy coaching and consulting programs, which is crazy. And I would tell people, why would you take unsecured debt, meaning debt that didn't have any collateral that could be discharged in bankruptcy, and exchange it for secured debt, something that's attached to your house that could leave you homeless, right? Same with this. Why would you take a resource you can't replace, your brain, your heart, your mental health, for something like money that's replenishable and getting printed every day? That you
Yeah.
made a bad trade. And we make that bad trade as entrepreneurs over and over and over again with stress and burnout and being overweight and tired and frustrated and malnourished. And as a person who is coming out on the other side of it, I can tell you the push that you do to try to make more money is usually not worth it. I would even argue is to say that if you have to push really hard, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. I do think
Mm,
that there's some place for grit in business.
yeah.
But grit is when you put intense force into something that you don't want to do or that doesn't come easily to you. If you spend your entire business in grit, you burn out.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need grit for everything that you do. Something should come easy to you. Some stuff should just work.
Yeah.
Some stuff shouldn't be this nightmare of push uphill every single day. So, getting to a point where we say, you know what? I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to give myself a raise. I'm going to hire a chef. I'm going to eat better food. I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to try acupuncture. I'm going to fire all my private clients and take a sabbatical. You could always make more money. That is the
Yeah.
rule. And it's also why I gave you those 3 defensive money tips earlier. If you've
Yeah.
got savings, it makes that feel a lot easier.
Of
It's very
course.
difficult to believe in your body that you could always make more money when you're drowning in debt and barely making payments and you have no savings. So it's
Right.
very easy to say I can always make more money when you have 6-figure savings cushion. That's why I tell
Yeah.
people, do what you can. I made $51,000 a year at the bank and I had $30,000 saved when I quit. It's not
Nice.
about how much you make, it's about deciding how you're going to deploy it to live that lifestyle. Now, I live in a low cost of living area. I live in a house that's way below my means. I drive a paid off car. I don't have children and I don't have pets. So I have actively done things to lower my cost of living so that I
Yes.
can be quite frugal.
Yeah.
And those are choices as well. I think a lot of times people try to change too late. They go, well, I'm in a mortgage I can't afford now, and I've already bought a Mercedes, and we have, 6 kids, and then we foster 6 more, and we have 3 dogs, 2 cats, a turtle, a parrot. We go on an annual trip to Disneyland. These 2 have a gluten allergy, so we have to do special food for the. And I'm like, wow, you've built up a really expensive lifestyle over there. And you've signed a lot of contracts that kind of lock you into most of it.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to save. So, like, now it's very difficult to sell me something expensive on the personal side that I can't cover with my savings. Like,
Right.
if I can't cover it with savings, then I probably don't need it. I mean, I pay things on my credit card, but I pay my credit card off every month. So,
Yeah.
I'm averse to anything that's gonna weaken my financial position because that's what no one tells you. What no one says, the secret stuff, the whispers in the closed door rooms where wealthy people are, almost anything is a liability. What people think are assets. I'm gonna buy this expensive thing, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna get this massive ROI. If you can't sell it, it's not an asset. To that
Okay.
end, a lot of the businesses that people are building aren't really assets. They might be cash flowing, they might have cash flow, but something that someone else would see value in and want to purchase at a price that was equitable to all the money, time, and energy we put into it. No, most people
Wow.
don't actually have that. So, like, what are we doing to build assets in the
Yeah.
world? That's why I'm team stock market, team real estate, in addition to your business.
Yes.
Don't try to stack all of your wealth up in your business because at least in the short term, it has very little extrinsic value. Most of the value is intrinsic to you, your freedom, your pay, your
Right.
goodwill, what it does for you. It's going to be a while before it has extrinsic value to an investor. And
Yes,
you might
that's
be listening and
absolutely
going, I don't
true.
want to sell my business. I don't care about investors. Listen, life comes at you fast. And it's great when you can work full time, but maybe you can't work full time forever. Maybe
Right,
you get
exactly.
sick. Maybe your parents get old. Life happens. Better you have money and don't need it than the other way around.
Yeah. No, this is great. This is such a fantastic conversation. You dropped so many bombs, like so many truth bombs, and I'm just sitting here like I'm laughing because you could do stand up. You are
Oh
so
man, so
hilarious. I
many
love
people
it.
tell me that. It's so frustrating because I can't. I'm not funny enough, I swear, but no one
Oh,
believes
no,
me.
I disagree. I disagree. Natalie, tell people where they can find you.
um, I am on Facebook. Isha will get you the
All
link.
the links.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but my Facebook's pretty lit. It's a great place. It's fun. It's funny. It's interesting. It's a journal of sorts, and I have a good time. Not gonna lie to you, I have a good time on Facebook.
Yeah.
My website is beautiful. It's been revamped, so I'd love for you to look at it.
Hmm.
Unapologeticwealth.com, where you can find out about me and my new community, the Cashmere Club, which is going to be the destination for high income, high earning, high net worth, affluent women who want to have a safe space to have the conversations that you obviously cannot have out in the general public. And
I love
begrudgingly,
that.
you can find me on LinkedIn. I hate it there, but I'm over there.
Yeah, LinkedIn is kind of like a little bit of a snooze
It's
fest these
so
days.
dry. It's like tumbleweeds roll by ever so often and like a traveling door-to-door salesperson. It's like the wild, wild west of I mean, like just ever so often someone shows up to the saloon with a briefcase full of crap they want to sell you. Like
You're like,
my DMs are a war zone over there. I don't understand how anybody does it, but
yeah, I don't either.
it's not for me to understand. That's what I've learned. Everything isn't for you to understand.
Natalie, thank you so much. This was this like such a treat, and it's gonna be, for the person listening, it's a mega treat for to have you here today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.